Greetings. This is Brother Dawood. I would like to touch on a subject on Messiah seeds. I want to know, do the people think that was Nipsey Hussle, Tupac Shakur, Biggie Smalls or Notorious B.I.G. and Soulja Slim are considered messiahs or messiah seeds? First off, I want to start off by I want to give you the meaning of the word messiah according to the dictionary. For messiah, the first one it is a noun, and it said that the promised deliverer of the Jewish nation prophesies in the Hebrew Bible. For the second meaning of this word messiah, it said that it's a leader or a savior of a particular group or cause. You follow? Now, I want to touch on something that had happened in the days of the 60s and the 70s with J. Edgar Hoover. And I want to start off with this. In the 50s and 60s, the FBI feared a black messiah, someone who was capable of inspiring the leaders of a black nation that might emerge to challenge the USA status quo. They were especially concerned about Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Huey Newton, and Fred Hampton. It was believed that the United States government assassinated Hampton on December 4th, 1969, and there is a substantial evidence of their assassination of Malcolm and King as well. J. Edgar Hoover, head of the FBI, said their goal was to prevent the rise of a black messiah or a messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black nationalist movement. Malcolm X might have been such a messiah. Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael, and the Nation Islam leader, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, all aspired to this position. But King, and it said this, and King could be very well the contender for this position should he abandon his obedience to white liberal doctrine. You follow? Because, King was a non-violent person. But now I want to touch on Nipsey, Pop, Biggie, and Soulja Slim. These brothers, they been all killed. All of them, or should I say assassinated. All young. Nipsey, his first name, or his real first name is Amias, which is a Ethiopian name which is given to young boys, and the meaning of his name is one who was sent by God. You follow? Now you go into Biggie Smalls' first name, which is Christopher, and it said that Christopher is related to those who are a follower of Christ, or one who is anointed by Christ, or one who is anointed. You follow? I want to get into Tupac's name, Tupac Shakur. It said that Tupac was or Amaru was the name of an Inca leader who led a rebellion against the Spanish conquistadors. You follow? And finally, Soulja Slim. His first name was James, and it said that James is derived from the name Jacob, which means a supplanter. You follow? Now, I want to also talk about each one of these brothers being tied to some type of street element or some type of gang, so to say. We all know that Nipsey was a Crip gang, and the Crips was put together to combat they cells from their neighborhood being terrorized by other gangs or by other people. So the Crips would get put together by two brothers, and from these two brothers, what they did was so-called draft, so to say, the young brothers in their neighborhood to come together to protect their block from outside forces. And they also said that the Crips was birthed from the Black Panthers, which Tupac Shakur's family is from. You follow? Tupac mother, his father, his stepfather, his aunts, and his family were Black Panthers. And the Black Panthers put together the fight oppression towards black people. You follow? And Tupac was a blood by proxy, so to say, because when he went out to California, or should I say when he had joined Death Row Records, he became associated with the Mob Pirus through Death Row Records, through Mob James, and a couple brothers from that set. You follow? And the Notorious B.I.G. or Biggie Smalls, he was associated with some type of street gang or families from Brooklyn. I know you heard of Junior Mafia. You might have heard from Junior Mafia due to the Junior Mafia and the rap group, but there was also a street team called Junior Mafia. You follow? And he was also tied in to Crips out in Cali or Los Angeles. You follow? Now, I want to touch on Soulja Slim, James Tapp. He was born in New Orleans, Uptown 3rd Ward. He was a resident of the notorious Magnolia housing projects, 6th Court. And he was associated with a couple of street gangs that come up out of the Magnolia housing projects. One of them being the notorious Hot Boys, not the rap group, but the real Hot Boys, who said that at one time that when they had got them off the street, that the crime rate in the city of New Orleans dropped. You follow? But one of the members from that Hot Boys group was called Dooney. And there was a group out of Magnolia named after the late Dooney from the Magnolia. And the group was called the Dooney Boys, which Soulja Slim was a part of. And Soulja Slim, over time, formed his own organization called the Cutthroat Committee. You follow? Alright. These four brothers had a following. They had people that listened to their music. They had people that worship him, so to say. These brothers had an influence on the minds and hearts of young black men, women, and people, period. Nipsey, he was planning on having a meeting with the police chief so that they could curb some of the violence that was going on in the streets. And he also had plans of unifying the gangs. And he was giving people advice and pointers on buying up property and turning their life around so that the community could be better. Now, this sounds like some Messiah type stuff right here, because he was trying to curb and turn people around for doing the harsh acts or foul acts and bring them to establishing something good within themselves so they can have a healthy life. But I feel that someone or some group of people wasn't happy with the actions of Nipsey, and that the brother was set up. You follow? I believe that the person who they accusing of killing him, Eric Holder, was just a part of the string of assassinating his brother because, like I said, his first name meant one sent by God. So he was doing the acts and he was doing the deeds of a person that was actually sent by God, despite the label that he might have had from being a Crip, a gang member. But a gang member don't necessarily mean that it's a person that's actually going out there banging and terrorizing their neighborhood. You follow? You know, the gangs sometimes are there to protect and patrol the community from outside people coming in, causing harm. You follow? So, when I think about the term of a messiah, someone who's coming to a particular group of people for a cause, I see Nipsey in that category. You follow? And I want to touch on Tupac Shakur. You know, this brother and his 25 years here on his rock, third rock from the sun called Planet Earth, was putting a smackdown. You know, he was being attacked for years. And if you go back to his first album, he was spitting all that, political information and trying to enlighten people. But he'd been betrayed and crossed by people and his own friends to where he didn't know which way to go. His back was against the wall. He was in a corner. He had been framed. He'd been set up just like some of the prophets of the old. Framed, set up, lied on, killed, maimed, anything. So, he get framed for rape. He do a short time in prison. And it took someone from a record label from the East Coast by the name of Marion Suge Knight, who bailed out Tupac, and with revenge on the heart and mind of Tupac, changed his music from the political side of things to a more gangster approach in music. Despite the fact that Pac had this anger or this feeling towards those who betrayed him, he still was dropping jewels of establishing things or building up your communities in life. You follow? He was forming something called One Nation, where he was grabbing rappers from every coast to put this project together. And anytime where unity is a subject as far as the people, there's some people that don't like that. They love with the whole divide and conquer thing. You follow? And I don't know if you remember, I believe it was in Times Square when it was with Tupac and Suge Knight talking about the whole Nas situation. And Tupac was mentioning feeding the people and establish something so the people could have something for themselves. Tupac and his actions that of a messiah, I see that he's in that category as well, because he was doing things and he always was a voice for the underdog. He was a voice for those who are poor. He was a voice for those struggling and trying to come up out of oppression. Pac, he voiced his opinion. He took action on trying to, bring about a change for the people. You follow? Now, Biggie, Notorious B.I.G. With time, people change. And the brother, Christopher Wallace, was assassinated at a young age of 24. But if you listen to the brother's music, there's no doubt about it that he was very talented. He had a way with his wordplay and his charisma. He touched the mind and hearts of people as well. I believe that if he wouldn't have never been assassinated too young, we would have all seen another side of Notorious B.I.G. Now we would have saw a side of him becoming political and talking about the upliftment of the people and the people becoming better and doing better. You follow? He tried to establish his life. You know, you listen to a lot of his music. He liked to talk about how he came up, struggling, and how he used to eat sardines for dinner and all these things and that. And Tupac was the one that was influencing Biggie at the time. So there's a link with this whole Messiah seeds or this Messiah link thing. You follow? Biggie was in the company of a good brother, a soldier, and Pac taught or dropped some seeds to Biggie about game or about knowledge as far as that. I could honestly link Biggie in that category of being a Messiah. You follow? And I want to touch on Soulja Slim, James Tapp. I know you hear about those New Orleans dudes, heartless, fearless, ain't even fairing nothing. They willing to go head up with just about anyone. I believe Soulja Slim represent that soldier aspect of the Messiah, the one who would get on the front line, strap up, and get ready to fight for the cause. Do you remember his song called Soldier Life Mentality? You remember the stuff that he was saying in that song? He was saying some powerful stuff in that song. Soulja Slim was on his way of changing. He was on his way of start enlightening the people about the system and the injustices of people. Listen to that song, Soldier Life Mentality by Soulja Slim. And he was considered the Tupac of New Orleans. He had that city on lock. KLC said on that documentary, I think it's called New Orleans Exposed, when they was having a second line for Soulja Slim, he said, "This is Soulja Slim's city. This is all his." And there was like hundreds and thousands of people out there celebrating this brother's funeral on second line. It was a lot of people out there, and they always refer back to Soulja Slim as the New Orleans of pop. And a lot of people feared him because he lived what he talked about in his music. He wasn't no studio gangster. He was the real deal. He was the real McCoy, He was that dude when it came down to the street thing, And he rolled with a lot of old school New Orleans gangsters, the Terrence Gangster Williams, which was one of the real hot boys, Sterling, Dooney, Mosquito. And then you have a lot of the old ones, the Glenn Metzes and the Sam Scullys. These dudes was like the guys, like the brother said on that video. I forgot the name of it, but he was saying how these were like the Michael Jordans of the street. Like they had a name, but with those brothers, or what should I say, with Soulja Slim spirit and heart, he was on his way of taking it to a whole nother level. The knowledge and the militaristic aspect combined together, that's something that is feared. So, and his music, or what he's putting out, was going to be in a way of other people's brand. Because they knew that when it came down to the streets, Soulja Slim had that thing on lock. So, I believe that there was something put together to wipe out or assassinate the brother. You follow? And I'm honestly say that he's a Messiah, so to say, too, because he had the mind, and sometimes the way how the Creator worked, he had people that had bad beginnings, so to say, and then he had them to where do them bad beginnings, because it's like a testimony, you know. Nobody could teach you or guide you in a certain way unless they've been on that path. You follow? And with these brothers, what he did, the Creator, he allowed them to have trials and tribulations so that when it comes a time when he transformed them, they will be able to teach the people, because they will be able to explain the different ills, the different, struggles that one go through. And these brothers right here, Nipsey, Pop, Biggie, and Soulja Slim, I put them in that category of Messiah seeds, or Messiah, or Messiah, or Mashiach, which means those who have been anointed, those who have been chosen to go to a particular group of people, to teach them, to bring them back to their wholeness. You follow? Godspeed.